Hi, and welcome to Changemakers with Eleanor, the podcast where we dive into the lives and lessons of those who are making a difference. I'm your host, Eleanor Baggaley, and in each episode we bring you inspiring stories from leaders, coaches, and people who are not just dreaming of change, but making it happen. Whether they're penning their first book, working in their community, or leading a revolution in their industry, you'll get a first-hand look at how they're shaping the world. If you're looking to leave a mark or simply love a good story about modern-day heroes, you've come to the right place. Here, we're all about changing the world, whether that's one person's world or the world in general. So grab your notebook or just a comfortable seat and let's explore these fascinating journeys together. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts to ensure you never miss an episode. Let's go change the world together. Hi, so on this week's podcast, I'm delighted to bring you Gill. So Gill, would you like to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you do?
Thank you, Eleanor. Yes, of course. So I'm Gill Brabner and I'm the Director of Resound Training and Development. And that's a business that I set up 20 years ago now. And we are specialists in forum theatre.
So what does forum theatre mean?
So forum theatre, well, I have a team of professional actors. We create short dramas about workplace issues. So, for example, all the management conversations, the difficult conversations, and then we take those out to workplaces and work with groups in organisations. And of course, now we work with them online as well. We have a strict no role play rule for our delegates, so they can sit back and enjoy the scenario. We show it all going wrong, and then they get a chance to interview the characters, redirect the scene, and we co-create the better conversation. So we're on a mission to bring better conversations and better workplace cultures into organisations and business.
I've certainly seen a few that would definitely benefit from that. I can say from my own experiences and family as well. What are some of the challenges you faced in doing the work that you do?
Initially, it was getting people to take the risk and bring us in. So we created an event for our clients way back, in the early days. We invited them all in, they experienced what it was like. And then, crucially, they told us how they thought it might work in their organisation. So they gave us a blueprint, really. And that's where our no role play rule comes from. They wanted to provide some sort of protection for their groups and managers so that they'd feel comfortable being there in front of their peers, but still had that immersive learning experience, which is so valuable because that's, people connect with the stories emotionally, and then that's what makes it memorable. And then they can draw on that learning when they go back into their role and need to have those conversations.
Do you ever get, I know you have the no role play rule that people don't have to join in. If they want to join in, can they?
Sometimes people absolutely want to role play, and it rather depends on the client organisation and the topic that we're discussing. So yes, we have had that situation. I remember working for a London borough for a social care, adult social care department on a really tough issue their social workers were facing, and somebody wanted the opportunity to practice that, and she was very comfortable doing that in front of a large group of her peers, and so we, in that case, that did go ahead, and everyone benefited absolutely, but often people are quite reticent about that, and there's some anxiety often in groups, so we have information we send out beforehand to reassure people about our approach, and I'm always upfront with how people can participate in the session. So we want people to have a good experience. We don't learn if we're sitting there feeling anxious. So with these immersive approaches, really important to support people.
Do you get to hear of success stories within the organisations that you work with after they've gone through your workshops? And are there any kind of significant ones that stand out?
Well, sometimes it happens in the session. Sometimes people are really vocal about the light bulb moment they've had, and there was one very memorable one from a long time ago where a young manager sort of recognised some of her own behaviours and left the room. I mean, it was pretty dramatic. She left the room and she made a phone call to a colleague to apologise for how she had spoken to him. Yeah, so that was a dramatic moment and a dramatic light bulb moment. More often it comes through other means, but a really significant piece of work that we did over many years was for a large NHS trust in London, working with their outpatients departments. And we did a big piece of user research before we scripted. So we would sit in outpatients and observed what went on, and then we would create scenarios based on observations. And the head of that service came into all the sessions. He participated, he supported his team through all the sessions, and crucially, he kept the conversations going after we had exited, so that in team meetings they would reference those scenarios, they'd reference bits of those stories and say, do you remember when the actors came in and we had that scenario about the family carer and everything that happened there, and he related it to good practice and what he wanted from the teams in the organisation. So that's a best practice example of how it can work really well when you work in partnership with the organisation in that way.
I'm just thinking back to the person that you said about going out and making a phone call to apologise. I guess kind of when conversations are happening, you don't necessarily always know what's going on in the employee's life outside of that, and I guess the impact of, I won't say wrong conversations, but maybe not going about things in the right way. You don't know then what knock-on impact that's going to have. So I guess it's quite powerful to ensure that the right things are being said in the right way, to ensure that you've not got that kind of butterfly effect in other people's lives.
Absolutely. And in one of our most requested scenarios, which is about bullying and harassment, we have 3 characters and you get to see the perspective of each character. It's not a cookie cutter situation. It's not this is wrong, this is right. There's lots of areas where you have to think, oh, this is difficult, because the person with the inappropriate behaviour is really likeable, is really popular. Delegates warm to that character in the session, but they also have to recognise that actually the behaviours are quite destructive and they're having a significant negative impact on somebody else. And that's what happens in organisations. So you see the different perspectives and you have to work through it all, and you have to come back to, if I'm the manager, what's my role and what's my responsibility, not just to this person, but to the whole team, to the culture of my team. What do I need to do? And we're always talking about early conversations as a prevention measure to things going wrong. And, that's the one key message for everyone in a management or team leader role in an organisation is, to have those conversations early, because that will prevent so much heartache, time, stress further down the line. It's so easy to avoid it and think, well, they can sort it out themselves. And often, in conflict situations, people just can't. For whatever reason, for whatever they're carrying, they can't. And you might think they should be able to, and that your time should be spent on, other things, but actually they often need some support in sorting through that.
So what was your inspiration for doing what you do? Why do you feel that it's important to do the work that you do?
Oh, well, to answer that, I've got to take you back a very long time to when I was 17. So it's a long time ago now.
This might answer. I was going to ask about whether you've had any moments of personal discovery as you've gone through the process. And I suspect that you're going to answer that as part of this as well. So, so back to when you were 17.
So I was in the sixth form at school doing A-level English literature, and along with my the rest of my group, we went to see a production of Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller. It's a really powerful play about a father and husband. Well, really, it's Miller challenging this notion of the American dream, where everyone, as long as you work hard, you'll succeed, and make a success of your life. And the central character goes through a horrendous breakdown for various reasons. And the reason why, partly the reason it was so powerful, is because at that time my dad was in a mental health hospital receiving treatment. He had been what's known as a revolving door service user. So he'd gone in and out of mental health services since I was 9. But at that point, he was particularly unwell. And there still is a stigma around mental illness, although it's better now than it was then. But at that time, I felt it very keenly. We didn't discuss it outside the home. My mum's best friend crossed the road to avoid speaking to her when he started having treatment. There was all of that stuff. But there was something that evening that made me realise that if a play was written about it, there must be other people, other families experiencing it. Now, I'd understood that cognitively, intellectually, but somehow it hadn't landed with me until that evening. So my friends all went off to the pub going, "Oh, what a miserable play. Let's go to the pub." And I went home feeling elated, because for the first time I didn't feel we were on our own. And that evening I thought, I want to do that for other people. And it took me a long time to find a way to do that. But I started my career in HR and then moved to L&D. I had a career break for my family, and I went to drama school as a mature student. It was something I'd always wanted to do, hadn't had the opportunity. So I did a part-time evening course at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, and found out about forum theatre, and I thought, this is it. And now I just need to find a way to make that happen. And a few years down the line, I made it happen.
That's amazing how kind of the different aspects and different chunks within your life have ended up merging together to try and kind of help organisations and make a difference in workplaces.
Yeah. So let me tell you about the first time I experimented with the sort of role play in this way. I was delivering a course, a funded program on an industrial estate. I'd been brought in by another training company to work with these older guys in a factory. And so we had this meeting room in a factory, and most of them were guys in their 50s, I suppose. And I just couldn't make the connection. I could not find a way to bring them alive to any of the conversations around management. And then I thought, right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try a little sort of role play exercise. And there was one younger chap that was quite extrovert and sort of fun in the room. So I said to him, I really want to try something. I want to try this sort of role play and show it going wrong, this conversation. Would you be up for having that, role play with me? And he went, yeah, I do that. So we played it out. And the place was in uproar. They were on their feet. They were shouting what we should be doing differently, everything that we were doing wrong. And suddenly it went from this group of people who did not want to be there, that were resentful and resistant, and suddenly they were absolutely full on alive with it. And I thought, oh yes, right, now I know that. So next step. But I had a phone call the next day from the owner of the training company that brought me in, and she said, I hear that you did role play yesterday, and I want to know why. Why can't you just use a flip chart?
I was going to say, I think a flip chart's possibly even beyond death by PowerPoint, isn't it?
So there you go.
Sounds like a fun session. So obviously we've gone through kind of where you started and the beginning of the first role play. What's your vision for the future? Where do you see this going? Kind of the importance of this, or developments? Where do you see it going for the future?
Well, we've got some very exciting developments going on at the moment behind the scenes. I mean, obviously, for the last few months, I've been thinking hard about where we will take this work, because clearly workplaces are shifting significantly with the introduction of AI. And COVID taught us that, nothing stays the same forever. And this year, it's been really interesting because we've been invited back face to face after a period of delivering online. So, to answer your question, Eleanor, I think the human skills, as they're often referred to now, to sort of differentiate the skills, the conversation skills between AI and what's human, they will move into a more premium product. So we're talking probably leadership days which we craft around scenarios that are very bespoke for senior teams. I think we'll be doing more of that going forward, and really supporting leaders to think about their decision making, their negotiating and influencing skills. And then I can't say too much about it, but we are developing a very exciting product using AI, which will, based on our forum theatre work. So yeah, that will be out
Robot
next year.
actors. It might be a future vision.
Yeah. So yes, you just have to stay current, don't you? It's really important in business too. And that's one of the huge challenges. You can't just stay stuck in what you like doing. You have to reflect where organisations are going and helping them to solve the problems that are current to them. So yeah, and I see a lot of conversations at the moment about intergenerational workforces and Gen Z, and I think we've got a role to play in supporting those conversations as well.
Yeah, I guess that's really important when you've got people with different experiences, different backgrounds. It's when you've got that intergenerational workforce, I guess the conversations can become more difficult to some degree.
Well, different expectations. I think the incoming group have had some different experiences growing up, and their expectations have shifted, and I think rightly so. And they don't necessarily want to do what was done before when you were a junior working in an organisation. So there's lots of complexity within this, the way workplaces are going to go forward, I think. But I think there's a role for us in there to support managers, to support team leaders, to support organisations, really think about getting that right. And yeah, I look forward to being part of it.
Do you have any tips for anyone else who is thinking, I want to make a difference, I've got this idea, I want to help change something, I don't know how to get started, or whatever it might be? Do you have any tips for others who are wanting to make a difference?
I think you have to be able to test what you want to bring to market in the situation, with the people that would actually be using it, and really listen to their feedback, because all of the programs over the years that we've run, it started with that one event where our clients came and supported us and gave us feedback on, and we said, we want you to come, we would give you a great day for free, but what we would like you to do is really tell us whether this would work or not. So it was our sort of test ground. And I think you need to find ways to do that, not necessarily an event, it can be different testing mechanisms, but it helps you think about it embedded in the situation where it's going to be used, and because it's so easy to miss something, you can feel very attached to what you're creating, and if you're creative, you enjoy the process of bringing something into being. You show respect to your potential customers by saying, test this for us, give us your feedback, we're really interested in what you say.
Sounds good. So whereabouts, if any of the listeners are wanting to find out more about you, your forum theatre, what it is that you offer, whereabouts can they find more about you?
Okay, so we've got our website, resoundtraining.co.uk. You can explore that. It tells you about forum theatre. We've got a couple of open workshops that people can join for free. There's the wait lists are on there. We've got a YouTube channel, so we've got our videos, so where we've created videos of our most popular scenarios. A lot of people use those in their training or self-learn resources. So that's Resound Training at YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn. That's my main social media platform of choice. Gill Brabner. So please do connect and join the conversation. That would be fantastic.
Well, we'll make sure that we share your information in the notes as well, so everybody can click through the links. You don't want to lick through the links. Click through the links and find you. You can tell my brain is still getting used to the kids just having gone back to school and things at the moment. So before I let you escape, can you tell us something fun or interesting, a fun fact about yourself?
A fun fact about me. Well, I spent 10 years working with horses. So I am a qualified saddle fitter, but the forum theatre is my real passion. But every now and again, I do miss being outside with the horses.
Oh, horses not sometimes easier than people.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, very much so.
Yeah, I think, well, I'm not a horsey person, but yeah, so, well, with some of the people that you come across, maybe the horses would be the better choice. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and joining me today, Gill. And who knows, our paths might cross and we may meet again at some other point.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Changemakers with Eleanor. I hope you're leaving as inspired as I am. If today's story has sparked something in you, remember it's never too late to start making a difference. Whether it's writing that book you've always dreamed of, stepping up in your community, or starting that campaign you're passionate about. If you enjoyed our time together, please consider giving us a rating and review on your favourite podcast platform and share this episode with someone who could use a little inspiration. Your support helps us to reach more changemakers just like you. Join me, Eleanor, in the next episode for another deep dive into the stories of those who dare to dream big. Until then, be your greatest. See you next time.